What is going on today, guys? All right, so today, and I apologize for the light, but we are finally doing it. We are reassembling the motor, getting everything done. So we've got a couple of different things that we need to get done. So these are the PI heads. We already did a video on those, how we went through, did the valve seals. Basically kind of just cleaned them all up. They made them look really, really nice. We have the headset. So this is kind of a weird situation. I ended up getting Felpro HS9790PT-7 just because I had kind of a weird situation. So this was an NPI, so that means non-performance improved motor. Okay, so my thought process was this: beyond the heads, everything else should be MPI. However, the nice thing on all the Mustang modular motors, 2-valve, 3-valve, 4-valve, is the blocks are the same. So it's really, really nice and convenient in that way. It makes everything really, really interchangeable. So I did confirm separately that we did get the right head gaskets. So those are right here. So it looks like what I would traditionally call the passenger side, however they call it the right bank on this, okay, even though it's left hand from when we were looking at the motor from the front, but from the back it would be the right hand. So we just need to remember that. It is 9790PT-2, and then the driver is 9792PT-2. So those are the correct sides. You can pretty clearly tell too, because there's a little boss right here that you make sure that you need to get done. So real straightforward on that side. We're going to go through the torque procedure. I printed out a couple of things. I printed out the Ford Racing head changing kit manual. That's a really good indication of what you should be doing for the timing. And that's what we're going to be using. I did also confirm it with a couple other guides I found online as well. But that's what we're going to base our all of our findings off of. And from what I can tell, the limited amounts that I've seen, we should be in pretty good shape. So I'm pretty excited about that. But let's go over everything else we have, because we have a lot of stuff. Okay, so we have the headset, we have the timing cover and the oil pan. They're both painted. They're nice. We've got new bolts for the oil pan, because the bolts that were in the motor were kind of junky. We can ignore that kind of box of stuff over there. That's some miscellaneous things. But we've got new water pumps, plugs, AC bypass kit. I did go out and get Cloy's brand new timing, all the timing guides, because I was a little bit I wasn't too happy with how the guides were in their shape. I'm still going back and forth. We're probably going to end up using the timing chains I did pick up, as well as over here we do have an underdrive pulley kit, so that's always fun. And then we have a Melling high volume oil pump, as well as an ARP crank bolt. So we have a lot of really, really good parts, as well as over there I did end up getting the low car flexible oil dipstick, because unfortunately I ended up breaking mine on accident. But I've also read numerous times that for a header install, that thing is like an absolute must need. So yeah, so we'll kick it off from there. Here's what we are going to do. I'm going to actually utilize a product that always comes highly recommended, and this is copper spray gasket. So we are going to spray both sides of the head gasket with this first, before we really start getting into everything. And then we'll put the heads on, and then we could start putting in the brand new head bolts. But before, unfortunately, all of that, the very first thing we are going to need to do is to change the oil pump. So since the oil pump goes in the front right here, that is the very first thing that needs to get removed and changed before we can do anything else. So we're going to get set up. I'm going to try to make sure I keep you guys in the best light possible, and we will go from there. Here's the new pump. Slides on nice and simple. Basically you just work it back and forth until you find that little groove, because it should match up right there. Let's see. There we go. Come on. Thank you. So all I did was I just put the crank bolt back in just like that to make it a little bit easier to get this to seat fully. And there we go. I'm going to use this to snug them up, and then we will torque them. These torque down to, I think it was like 71 to 106 inch-pounds, which is between 6 and 9 foot-pounds. Again, we are going to do probably just like a 7, just to make it easy. So there's 5 and 7. Now we have the oil pump pickup tube. We're just going to remove the old O-ring right here with a pick, just like that. Verify the new one that came with the melting pump is the same size, and it is, so this one's trash. Then we're just going to take a little bit of WD-40 just to make sure that this doesn't like pinch or tear, because that'll give you terrible oil pressure and can cause issues, and it's just not worth it. So slide it on nice and simple. Then we are just going to work it back and forth so that it is nice and in there. And yep, that is flush. That is good. Oil pump is installed. All right, next we're going to install the oil pump, or I'm sorry, the oil pan. I'm going to put some silicone in these back corners. It's recommended on all of the front areas as well, so we already had to get the silicone out. Now, reading up on the oil pan, I didn't see anything that specifically stated it. However, there's also a lot of people that start claiming that there's a lot of oil pan leaks after doing something with their motor. So I am just going to take out of an abundance of caution and just put some in the corner right there, as well as the corner right here. So that should cover me in case there's any issues from that side. I won't have to worry about it going forward. And I already had the silicone, so it's not like it was a waste. So now I'm going to get the oil pump, or the oil pan gasket, whoops, and we'll place that on. Then we'll place in the oil pump, or oil pan, I'm going to keep saying that, and then put the bolts in. Okay. After verifying the correct side, we are going to put this down. This is a Felpro gasket. There's a little tab on the inside. That should go up from what I can tell. So, since we're looking at the bottom of the motor, it is facing downwards. However, if we were to go the other side, it should be facing upwards. So, I'm going to grab a little bit more RTV, just because, like I said, out of an abundance of precaution, we really don't want this to leak at all. So we are just actually going to go right along the back side here. Okay. And then I'm actually also going to go along the front side as well. And just like that. Okay. Perfect. Now, let's get this just lined up. Just like that. Perfect. the Ford, here, what was it? It was the M6004-462V installation instructions. You can find those online. I think I printed them off Ford.com. What you're going to want to do is you are going to want to rotate this keyway right here until it is in the 9 o'clock position. So right over here is what you are going to want to do. So let's rotate till it's into the 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock right there. Nice and easy. So why are we putting it to 9 o'clock? We are putting it to 9 o'clock to make sure that the pistons are in what they call is a safe mode. What that means is when we put the heads actually on the block itself, the safe mode is going to keep it from any valves hitting any of the pistons. Unfortunately, that is just a reality of what can happen on these motors. So to combat that, you just put it into the safe mode, just like I said. So 9 o'clock is the position that is spec'd by Ford directly on there. It's going to make everything just a lot easier for us to do. I'm going to wipe these out one more time with some brake clean just to get everything nice and clean, because we are about to put the heads on, and ideally they will not come off. They are a torque to yield head bolt, so in an ideal world this will be the last time the heads are coming off on this motor. But obviously anything can happen, and that's the way it goes. For the actual block itself, because I did the since I did the heads on the bench, for the actual block itself, all I did is I went around with some Scotch-Brite, some brake clean, and just tried to clean up as much as possible the mating surface. It really wasn't so bad. I didn't have it professionally checked, but we didn't pull this motor apart because there was an issue. We pulled this motor apart because we just wanted to add power. So there really shouldn't be anything to worry about because of the way that we did this. However, obviously, you know, make a smart judgment for yourself. If you're doing this, it might be worth it to have the block checked. That's up to you, to make sure that all the surfaces are nice and smooth. If not, you might want to just perform a compression test prior to pulling your heads, just to make it a little bit easier for yourself. But again, that's up to you. I'm not going to dictate the way that you live. Okay, we are ready to rock. So I am going to simply just place these on top right like this. Okay, and we're going to get the correct sauce. So an important part to realize, since we did the heads on the bench, the heads are not going to be perfectly aligned with where we need them to be aligned on the keyway just as of yet. With that being said, though, we can get that fixed pretty easily. It's just going to require us to do this one more time. I'm actually going to remove this and put the gear on so that I can hold it in place, because you don't want to be adjusting things up top and this keyway moving. You really don't want that pretty much at all. So we're actually going to quickly pop it off. It's just an 18 millimeter. That's what I've been using just on this portion right here, and we will pop on our timing components. Let's see. There we go. Now, I am not going to use the ARP bolt just yet. We're going to continue to utilize this one. When everything's said and done, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, before you put your harmonic balancer on, you're going to want to use some more silicone directly on this that is directly from Ford. More than likely, it's something weird that requires them to do it like that. So that is the way that we are going to treat it, is we are going to listen to the instructions. Okay, so getting back into it, I was working through this. I still need to finish up on that, but that's not a big deal. There's just crank sprockets. Just wanted to get them at least on there. So now we are going to grab our copper spray gasket. And we are going to get this all set up correctly. So nice and simply. I think I'm also going to hit the block up. So, and actually let me move you guys right like this. Okay. So, just like that right there. So you guys might not be able to see it, but I'm also going to spray the bottom of the block, or I'm sorry, the bottom of the head with the copper spray gasket as well, just to get it on. Let's put her on. Ugh. You just want to match it up with the dowels on the block so that everything goes on nice and easily. Now I am going to grab the head bolts. I'm just going to start one with a few threads just to make sure, because I think for whatever reason I have to put motor oil on these threads. So we are just going to double check real quick to make sure that that is the case. Okay, just as I thought, it is recommended to use 30 weight oil, so we are going to use, I've got some lawnmower oil that's non-synthetic, so that is what we're going to do. What they directly recommend on there is to you are going to want to put it on the threads as well as on both sides of the washer. And this washer should be a captive washer for this application. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to stick my new glove in there, and all we're going to do is just simply wipe on some oil on the threads just as they had said, and then wipe some oil directly on the washer, and then we are able to put this in. So we're going to put that one right in there, just like that. Okay, so now all of these are a 15 millimeter. I'm going to walk these in by hand first, and then we can come back and we can make sure that we are doing this properly with the torque specs. But I'm not going to really be torquing these. I'm just giving them just enough to snug them up. Okay, so these ones are a little strange, all right? So I just put this together because this was a number of different things that we needed to do. So what we need to do is we need to torque them in sequence. We're going to torque them to between 28 and 31 foot-pounds. We are going to use a torque angle gauge, and we are going to turn 90 degrees. Then we are going to loosen one full turn, and then we are going to re-torque them again 28 to 31 foot-pounds. Okay, then we're going to turn 90 degrees, and then we're going to turn another 90 degrees. So I'm just going to keep that right there. So you're going to use, this is a 1/2 inch, 10, 20, 30. There we go. So when I say 90 degrees, we're going to use a torque angle gauge. This is an OEM Tools one, 25424. And basically once it's set, you just go an additional 90 degrees, and that'll be good. We're going to be using the same tool on the bottom because the oil pan gaskets need, I believe it was 8 foot-pounds, and then plus 60 degrees. So this is the correct tool to do the job. Perfect. This one is on. Cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, and it doesn't look like we made too much of a mess, thankfully. So, one last thing I'm going to do before I put on the other head. I am just going to check this direction. From what I recall, yep, it is saying that this head, at least according to the Ford piece, okay, should match up. It looks like about the 11 o'clock position from what I am reading right here. Taking a look at this step. So we should be able to see a dot right there. It's at 9 o'clock right now. All we have to do is move that over to the 11 o'clock position, give or take. And let's see. Okay. Since the motor's in safe mode, we have nothing to worry about. Okay, looks like, I'd say that right there is about that right there. I also need to torque down these caps. These caps should also be, let me verify, I believe it was 8 foot-pounds, but let me double check. All of the cam caps are 8 foot-pounds. Again, they give an inch-pound measurement, but we're going to use the foot-pound measurement, and they should be a 10. If they are a 10, I am just going to get a better 10 for torque. And then 7. I realize now I've got the one I have on there has 8 bolts. It looks like probably on just a different iteration motor. Doesn't matter because they follow the same torque spec. Going this way on the 6-bolt or the 7-bolt, or it looks like the 8-bolt, where you do the first 6 the same, and then the exterior ones are the last 2. Okay, cool. Well, now that we have this in, now we can do the other side and keep moving forward and get this all done. So again, same process. We're going to use the copper sealant on the block, on the head, on the gasket, and yeah, perfect. Let's get it done. Okay, so we cleaned up a little bit of, like, say, the bearing surface, as well as I moved all of the bolts and whatnot from when I removed the NPI heads. I moved them all over to the PI heads, as well as I compressed the tensioners. You can compress the tensioners. What I did is I just put this portion in a vise right here, bled it down because there will be oil in it. From there, I just took a tiny pick and I went ahead and there's a couple of teeth. You guys probably can't see them in this, but I just used a pick, pushed down on, it's probably a retainer spring right there, and then I was able to collapse this, and then I used a couple of bobby pins from Sammy to keep these in place. A paper clip will work fine. To be honest, really anything will work, just because essentially you're just trying to catch one of those teeth so that it can sit properly. So now that we have everything done here, I went ahead and probably double, triple, quadruple read all of the information as it pertains to this. So coming over to the timing side of things, this is where I know for a lot of people it can get a little dicey. So coming over to the timing side, everything is marked. So you have right hand, left hand, and then the cam sprockets. What I was double checking and kind of freaking out about a little bit was the direction of the cam sprockets and which way they're supposed to go, just because Ford used a number of different cam sprockets over the years. So from everything that I can tell, as well as double checking on a couple of forums, it looks like the shouldered area, if you have the two-piece, which is the 96 to 2000, the shouldered areas go against each other like this. Okay, they don't go like this, you know, they don't go like that, they go like this, and that allows the chains to actually ride correctly. You don't need to worry about interference with the oil pump because there is a shoulder directly on the crank spout itself, so you just slide those both in directly right there. Now if you notice, there is a little timing mark right there, okay? That is, if you are, say, like used to small block Chevy stuff, that is your timing dot that needs to align with these. So what we are going to do very first is we are going to double check to make sure our alignment is correct, as is required by the actual Ford instruction sheet. So all of this stuff will be 18s here, here, and here. So it's actually pretty nice and simple. So we're going to be looking at left hand, okay? Left hand says approximately at the 12 or 1 o'clock position. Here will be 12, here will be 1, so we're at 1 o'clock. Okay, that one is good. Okay, right hand is saying it is approximately at the 11 o'clock position. So if we say noon is here, 12 here, we're probably at about 10. Let's see if we can get it to rotate just a little bit more. But see, if you see it, it snaps all the way over there. So we are actually going to cycle this all the way through, okay? And we are right back to where we were. Again, approximately the 11 o'clock position. You can kind of see a little bit directly right there about what we should be looking at. It looks like, yeah, okay. We should be okay. So from there, all right, moving on to the next step, we need to rotate this bottom portion. So right now, the keyway is at 9 o'clock, okay? It's pointed right there. We need to move it to 10:30, okay? So what we need to do is just very simply, okay, we need to just bump this over right like this. Okay, probably about 10 right there. How we can check our work is there's the little alignment dot. That needs to be facing directly down. So we are just about there. I would say that is directly on the money. So we need to get this to come off now. Let's see. So see, this is what you want to be very careful about, is when you're doing this, you want to make sure that it does not move on you at all. Okay? You don't want any instances in which that can come back and set your timing off and things like that. So we're going to use the impact and hold it just like that. Okay. Then we're going to slide that one out, and again confirm, yes, we are correct. I did decide to go ahead and use the timing chains that I bought instead of using my OEM ones. A lot of people say the OEM ones are good for multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I've decided against that. So the cool thing on 2-valve timing chains, okay, from everything that I have read, is typically speaking you will have a mark. So let's see if we can find, this does have a little bit of flash rust on there. we are looking for a gray colored dot. So we've got a USA there. I'm looking to see if these ones are, not sure what it is with these. Because essentially you should have exactly as many dots on there all the way across. Basically it should line up, and actually no, that's perfect. So what we can do is we can actually mark these just to make sure that we are not getting messed up. I'm looking for a dark colored chain. That's what the OEM ones would have, is a slightly dark colored chain. And I'm not seeing anything right now. That's not a big deal. I'm gonna get a paint pen and we can mark this, and then we can move on to the next step. So we are also going to mark directly up here just so that we can see everything nice and easy. So let's take a look. So we are going to choose this one right there, and then you can quite literally line up all of these just like that right there. And as you can see, right on the other side we have an opposing one that is in the same direction. So we will be starting with the drivers, as that is what you're required to do. So we are going to simply line this up directly right here, and then we are going to line this up here, and we are just making sure that we get everything correct. So I'm actually going to slide this out. Come on. Just like that right there. And slide it right back on. Boom. And that is the driver's side is aligned. Okay? So now we are going to do the same thing. Again, the shoulder is going to face inwards. So, right like this right here. Come on. Alright, and again we're going to do the exact same procedure. We're going to paint mark that one, paint mark this one. Okay, let me grab my chain. Oh, come on. Got a little bit of a situation here just because it is wrapped up like this. There's that. Okay. Come on. Oh, okay, I see what I gotta do. So we just need to essentially keep going like this. Yep, there it is. Just like that, okay? We are going to do the same thing. You can count out the pieces. You can count out the links. I am not going to, personally, just because I've read this procedure probably about 30 or 40 separate times now, and I'm not so worried. So I'm gonna pick this one right here. Okay, and then, let's see, we're gonna go right down the line, and then we are going to pick this one. There we go. So we've got 2 paint marks. Good to go. Alright, so now we are going to slide on this one right here. Then we are going to come here. So this is the only thing I was kind of worried about, and I'm glad that we're able to see. That top one does need to come over. So let's see. We are going to align this because we know that this is true. So we know that right here, okay, for example, that would be where it would be. We know that these two are correct, as in they are 100, I think it's like 180 degrees or so, but we can see that the overall piece is not in the correct position just yet. So what we need to do is just ever so slightly turn. So we are probably gonna have to fight this just a little bit. Oop. Let's see. There it is. Just like that, okay? You don't need to worry about this. Oh, and see right there, that's an example of jumping timing. So we're going to take the tension off again, okay? Just like we did right here. All right, I'm going to pull this piece out one more time. Okay, so taking a slight pause, what we're going to do, I've got this lined up here, this lined up here, so these are lined up correctly. this is in the correct orientation. So when we bar the motor over, we should be in good shape here for it to actually snap directly in. And then once that's in place, the bottom guide is much easier to put in. So I'm not too concerned. We do still have the bobby pin in here. So we are going to move on now to the passenger side and start to get that in the correct orientation as well. So we should be in this spot right here. Yep. Directly like that. So I'm going to put this right here, grabbing this one. As you see, there's a big R here, L, L. So they're all in the correct orientation. So this here, now it's sitting directly on there. You want it to be sitting like that right there, and then right like that. So these will have tension on them, so you don't need to be super concerned about any of that right as of now. So we are going to grab our second tensioner spring, okay? And again, we are going to go directly right here. Okay, so this is where we need to bring it up. So, and again, this one's going to fight us, it looks like, just a bit. So we're going to try our best to get this in the correct orientation the first time. So we're coming up, and oh, there it is. One, and then this is where I was fighting it the last time too. So if I go to that, I want to take some more tension up here. So, right like this. Okay, we are very, very close to having this correct. Come on. Okay, that's unfortunate. So, as you can see, it's a very delicate balancing act to get this correct. And now, we need to see if our marks are still aligned. It does appear to be so. There we go. Yes. Okay, so exactly what happened here is something you need to be very, very careful of, is our bobby pin fell out. So just put that right back in there so that it does not immediately expand. Thankfully we did bleed it down, so it does not look like we're in any issues there. Okay, so we are going to bring this back up. And let's see, we are 2 teeth off on this one to get this perfect. And then this still has some tension on it. So let's bring this one back. See if we can get this one to align correctly. Come on. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, right like that. So this is correct right here. Okay, this one is correct as well. We just need, oh man, we just need a little bit more. We need a little bit of cooperation from this chain, and everything will slide directly in place. We are going to try to get some cooperation. Okay. Now we don't really want to put a whole lot on this tensioner arm if we can avoid it, but we might be able to give just a little bit that we need because we are super close. Okay, come on. Okay, so we're going to let that one sit for a second. And again, the bobby pin fell out, so you might want to get something a little bit thicker than the bobby pins that I have, because these are seemingly just wanting to pop out immediately. And see, this one immediately put some tension on it, so that's actually going to be an issue. So now we need to alleviate that. Okay, so in theory, now I'm going to rotate this, and everything should pop back into place. You know what? I'm actually going to put the bolt in on the bottom. Let's give this a shot. Okay, and everything should rotate from what I'm seeing, but we'll see if that is the case or not. Okay. There we go. Oh, okay, I see. Come on. Ah! See, and this is exactly what you gotta be careful about, man. This is what's making it hard, is it is just fighting us and fighting us and fighting us. Okay. So yep, okay, just double checking the timing marks. Everything's good there. So now, let's see, these are, now they're fully in. Okay, now we only need the secondary guides and the timing chain tensioner on this one. And we have it timed. So we just need to double check all of our torque specifications, and then we will be in very good shape. Let's see real quick. Okay, so it looks like it's 9 foot-pounds on the guide bolts, and then it's 18 foot-pounds on these ones. So let's grab our torque wrench. Pull the pins. It is that simple. This, again, really was not so bad. These will puff up with more tension once the motor has oil pressure. So it's not like you have to be really worried about anything by any stretch of the imagination there. Everything is in really good shape. Everything that I had read had said timing a 4.6 is so much easier than what you think it is. And I would absolutely concur. By the way, so if you have the older 2-piece ones, it'll say rear directly on there, and then you just put it on just like that, and it slides right there. Okay, we're gonna see, yeah, we have no issues at all with clearance. We should be in very good shape. There we go. And again, that's not the final installation. We'll be using a different bolt, but now I should be able to turn the whole motor over and see everything work together. Yeah. Yep, we are in excellent shape. That feels absolutely fantastic. Everything feels really good. And like I said, everything is really good. Now, when you start turning the motor over, eventually it will return back to your painted dots, but it won't stay on those dots forever. So this is very, very normal. Okay, so from here, we're going to do the water pump real fast, just because then that kind of allows us to seal everything up on the front, because after that we'll be putting on the timing cover. I'm probably going to make a little bit of a boo-boo here, just because I don't actually have another front timing seal like I thought that I did. And I feel like that one might come back to bite me, but we'll play it by ear. The front timing cover is not so hard to remove, but that is at least what my plan is as of right now. I just used a little bit of WD-40 because this is just an O-ring, and then let's see. Come on. I'm actually going to use a little bit more and actually put it directly in the channel here. There we go. Let's see if we can pop it on. Okay. Let's see. Alright, so that's in. I will say it was a little bit difficult there, so I'm going to put some more in here. That's it. Okay. So, there's 4 bolts to this, and they are all 18 foot-pounds from what I was reading. So, get all these in. Now we're going to move on to the front cover. What I will probably do is I will probably put the front cover on because I'd like to paint the interior and whatnot, and that's gonna obviously it's gonna need to dry. And then I'll probably come back, change out the front cover seal, and yeah, move on from there. I'm going to flip it over. We're going to tighten up all the bolts on the front, and then we can paint and get it ready for kind of the final install. Be kind of fun. need to do then is we need to put some valve covers on, and yeah, we'll be able to. I'm going to tape off the intake ports and the exhaust ports, and yeah, let's get that done. We'll wrap up and we'll show you exactly what we've got in store. Well, there she is. She's all prepped and ready, so I'll hit it up with some paint, and yeah, we'll get it all together. I'm going to order one of these seals as well as a rear main seal that I thought I had, but I did not. And we should be able to wrap this all up nice and pretty. So I'm glad to see it all together. I get a lot of workspace back, and yeah, we'll be able to bolt the transmission to the back of it and go from there. So thanks for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you like, you don't like, and catch you on the next one.